What strategies have you found most effective for hiring? We talked about retaining a little bit already, but we can talk a little bit about that. But mostly about hiring, um, and getting these members to have buy into your clinic mission. I know you're doing it without driving up costs. So give me some ideas. Or give the listeners some ideas of what you're doing.
A big funnel for us has been students. And three of our APPs have been PT students for us, and they were wanting to come back. One of them picked us because she knew that she wanted to come work for us. She had been in Tahoe and before, and she knew about us and our reputation, and so she had her eye on us and the whole time. The others, maybe some schools allow people to choose a specific place, so many don't now. But once they've ended up with us, we get a lot of students who want to come back. So those have been great hires for us. It's the culture and people with the vibe that we put out, and our angle is working with mountain athletes. So we get people who reach out to us and want to be a part of what we're doing, want to work with the population we're working toward, they're working with. And I think our website, our Instagram, Facebook, all that reflects who we are. And we've had 100% success rate with everybody we've given an offer to for work. We've we're batting 1,000 right now, which is amazing. We've had people that had early conversations and we've talked about because we're very transparent. We want to be very clear about, like I talked about earlier, you can make money, a lot more money if you go across the street to the hospital.
Right.
Yeah,
You won't have as much fun.
you want as much fun.
You won't
And
be as fulfilled.
we let people know, but we get people that a lot of people are follow our Instagram. They'll hear about us because we're doing community events, we're doing avalanche awareness events, and we're doing ski conditioning, and so. But they are following us even if they don't live here. But then their friend, somebody else that's connected to them, and like that's how we reached out from Oregon. It was like, oh, I have a friend that's down there that was following your Abbey course, and just these you get 2 or 3 degrees of separation, but they're connected and they see what we're doing. So I think for us, that's been the biggest funnel is be true to who you are, and you'll attract the type of people who want to be in that environment, and you start building the tribe.
Right, because I'm going to assume you agree with this. Setting you up there, so you better agree with me. No, I'm just kidding. But your business, your clinic, is not right for every therapist. Your clinic is not right for every patient, right? So you guys know who you serve. You're attracting other like-minded clinicians and even administrative staff, I'm assuming, that are in that world, these mountain athletes, and they know what you're about. You're true to your mission, you're true to your vision, you're true to who you're serving in your community, and that's why your retention rate is high. That's why you're probably not having a hard time finding PTs, and yes, spot on, getting in the students, getting them right off the bat while they're in school is a great strategy. So kudos to you for just staying true to who you are. And I think when we met, I told you your business reminded me a lot of mine. We didn't do mountain stuff. We did work with endurance athletes. So people who wanted work with them, like motivated endurance athletes in that type of environment. And we had an open gym environment. There was music. There were fist bumps and high fives. It was exciting, right? It was busy. It was a little. Sometimes it appeared chaotic, but I think there was I think we were resonating, like we were flowing. I was hearing the music in my head at least. Um, so with that, like let's talk about like in the hiring process. Let's just talk about that for a second. So when I did, I'll just jump in real quick. So when I first started, it was just me. Like I'm just hiring people. So I was the interviewer. My wife was involved too. So sometimes she would interview as well. So I'd always try to get two people involved. As I started to grow and got managers in different offices, we ended up with a 3-phase process. One was at least a phone interview with me or an in-person interview with me. Then it was an in-person interview at the clinic with whoever the manager was that was going to be managing that person. After I agreed, like, past phase one, then it passed phase two, and then we did like a working interview. Come in, spend a couple hours, feel the mojo of the clinic, make sure that's right for you, and then on purpose, we had conversations with them in front of patients and see how they interacted with the patients, and even ask them some clinical questions. It was almost like this working interview, and that way we were really sure. So we had at least two humans, if not more, because other people were involved while they were spending 2 to 3 hours in the clinic. Sometimes we had the whole clinic involved. Like, yeah, we love Joe. Like, bring him in, please. Or sometimes they're like, I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know how that person passed phase one because they're not a fit. But also, one, it lessened like the mistakes of hiring the wrong person, but also how good it was for the team to be involved. Like, we took part in bringing this new team member in, and I always felt that there was more of that harmony, there was more of that resonance when everyone was involved with it. So, what do you guys do for like a hiring process, and how do you ensure that that person that you're hiring is your fit?
Yeah, a lot of similar things. So one is we have people send us a video of why they think they are a great fit. And so you can wean people out with that. If they're not willing to, just make just do a selfie video, and it's great because we'll get people. The people we want are the ones who are sitting on a ski lift, or they're up hiking up a mountain, or they're out
And
paddleboarding,
that's
and
where they're making the video while they're out there.
exactly. They look
Oh, that's
good.
awesome.
This
You're
person's
hired.
start. That's a good start.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's one thing too, because we're like, we have a, even if they're not extroverts, and we don't expect everybody to be extroverted in our environment, very similar to ours is very similar to yours, where it's wide open, there's a lot going on. You have to be able to connect with other people, and you have to be able to get out of your shell. So that's a big thing. One thing I took from Disney when I went to Disney Institute was uh, is have your new hires sit next to your front office staff, whether it's your manager or your front desk person, and make them wait there and see how they treat your front office staff. And so that's huge because then my front office manager's up there, and she loves to talk to people, and she'll give us her feedback like, oh yeah, I love them, or yeah, they weren't very nice, or they whatever it is. Yeah. So
They were looking at their watch the whole time, really angry.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you just tap for information, just have conversations, and then bring the team in as well. There's we've got three partners, so we start with us, and then after that, then we love having them come into the clinic. We've had I think only one hire that didn't come into the clinic because he was working out of state, and but he knew about it. He had friends that were in our community and had been in as patients, so he had a good idea from the patient side as well. And then just described it a lot, and then FaceTime calls with him. But everybody else, yeah, we get in there to come hang out, and yeah, make sure everybody feels like they're a good fit. So we don't want to drop somebody in and there was like, like you said, who's this? Where they come from? Who is that?
I think we've all made some hires. Any owner here that you probably weren't the most proud of or the most happy about, and I again, probably because hiring under when you're stressed, right? So when I work with my clients now, I'm like, your recruiting is 24/7, 365. Like, you just need to constantly recruit if you're looking to grow, right? Even if not, there needs to be some sort of system in place that you're just constantly getting in front of potential PTs because you never know when you're going to need one. And I definitely made hires out of desperation. I'm like, do you have a heartbeat? You have a PT license? We're booking out 4 weeks. Come on in. And then those were the worst hires, and it cost me more money to try to mentor and coach them to become the person I need them to be, and that just wasn't who they were. So maybe shame on me for getting them in and not spending the time. And that's probably why I developed that three-phase process. But also shame on them for taking a job that maybe they didn't know. And then it comes down to clarity, right? And that whole clarity and connection, communication, culture, that all starts in the interview. Like, they need to know what you're about. I love the fact you do the videos first. Um, I don't think I had video phones when I first started my business. It
Yeah.
was that long ago. There was a smartphone back then.
Great. Get your camcorder up there.
Right.
Yeah,
Here's the VCR tape. Here's my highlight reel. Those of you who are young, you don't know what a VCR tape is. Just
exactly.
Google it, you'll find it, or ChatGPT it. They'll tell you all about it. But anyway, yeah. So just starting from that interview process, I think building your culture, and also like if that person, if you truly feel they're going to be a valuable part of your team and it's a great connection and there's going to be resonance, like you start building that retention right away. Like I've had, and you probably have it too. Like you just meet someone and you're like, fuck yeah, pardon my French. Yes. Like I need this person, right? So so that interview goes a little bit different when versus the one that they come in and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not sure. So there might be specific questions, but when I know someone's like, yes, I need this person. They're the fit for us. We're a fit for them. It's going to be a mutual beneficial relationship. Then I even start talking about more like conversations as if they were an employee and get and trying to build them more, feel, talk more about the culture we're building, a little bit more about the vision, everything. I get excited about that. You know, there were times I wanted to make a like you're hired now right away, but I always had to like, take a beat, step away for, for a bit, and then like take a day, sleep on it, and then make them an offer the next day. But that's always a great feeling when you get that. And versus the one that walks in and you're, right away, like, yeah, this is going to be a waste of 30 minutes of our time, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of social stuff too. So this last hire, the PT we just hired, we went out to dinner, drinks, you know, yeah, you just get people to let their guard down, especially you can have somebody who's incredibly personable, an incredible therapist, incredible person, and maybe not a great interviewer. They're just getting nervous and they choke, they ends up choke. And so you get them in a social environment and they're great. And so that's one thing that's worked for us. We have a performance coach that's he found us through Instagram. He follows one of the guys who one of our sponsored athletes. So another example of how just those connections. And I think he's a great. He'll be a great fit. But when he came up to interview, there was a chamber mixer that night that I was going to go to. So I was like, dude, you're going to come with me to the chamber mixer. Here's PT Rev shirt. Just work here. Be part of the deal.
Yeah.
I want to see how he did out
How,
representing.
how cool did he feel at that point, right?
Oh yeah, got the picture with the ribbon cutting and everything. I was like, oh.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. And
but
I think the point is like you build that connection right from the beginning, right? And you mentioned some people are nervous, like yes, especially these young kids. And as we're getting older, we get this gray hair. Um, it could be intimidating. So I always ask some sort of weird question. I'll even start with a joke sometimes. I want to let their guard down. I don't need them to be, tie up nice and tight and sitting tall and like, because I made the mistakes of hiring the resume. I'm like, I don't even care about the resume that much. Of course, you need the basics, but like I'm hiring a person, right? So just getting to know them. And sometimes I'll just break it down and we'll talk about, the foods they like to cook or the best, their favorite Jim Carrey movie or something, just to like make them just relax. Like, and I let them sometimes interview me first. Well, when I did, I was like, all right, we're going to flip this. You're going to interview me. Ask me whatever questions you want. Like, you just get comfortable. Just something you got to read the room, right? And there's some people that are ready to go. Like they come in, they're confident, they're good. You can follow that easy, typical interview flow, and whatever the outcome is, the outcome is.
I love that because we'll do that too. Look at their hobbies, their accomplishments, and we'll start with that. Okay, so before we even talk about PT, let's talk about. You said that you summited Mount Rainier last year. I want to hear about that. Or I saw your Instagram page, your Facebook, or whatever. A picture of you over Denali or whatever. So
Right, right, right.
like
And
that.
of course, they want to talk about it,
Yeah,
right? And now you get that connection. Oh, we've got something in common. Like, so it's great. Real quick story. Yeah, social media became really big, if I was going to hire someone, I would always jump on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, look them up. And I had this resume that came to my desk. It was for an aide position, like an exercise science background, future PT. Resume looked great, awesome. So I go on and I see this. I think it might have been Twitter, but I look at this young lady's Twitter feed, and she was a big hockey fan. And there's videos of her at a hockey game. F you, Canadians suck. F you, like middle fingers in the air. I'm like, oh, that's got to be a one off. And it's video after video after video. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not hiring this girl. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna do something bigger here. I'm gonna bring her in and I'm gonna talk to her about this. So she came in and she interviewed perfectly. The resume was great. Interviewed perfectly, and I literally said, I'm not going to hire you. And I said, and I'm going to tell you why. And I brought you in because I think you're going to have problems in the future getting a job because of this. And I told her everything, and she goes, "Is it that bad?" I'm like, "Just go and go look through your feed." And she actually sent me a thank you and cleared her account. I think she started fresh new accounts and got rid of all her old accounts and started fresh. So I think I did her future employers a little service. I'm not sure, but I
yeah,
felt good about it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I should have hired her because she made a change like that. You know, I presented a problem to her. She made a change, which was good. But anyway, it was some scary videos, man. I was a little nervous in a
Yeah,
private room with her.
it definitely, I mean, reflects on your business as well, and can reflect on the rest of your team culture. And so that's a bold move, and I love that you did that just for to help somebody grow too. And hopefully she I mean, it seems like she learned from it. And
And I think that was probably the time where I wasn't in desperation, like always recruiting, and like, and you. I agree with you. Like our aides was constant turnover. It was typically someone with a bachelor's getting ready to go to PT school, when needs a part-time job, or it's taking a year off in between. So we were constantly evolving. So I was always interviewing people. Like I always had like five in the chamber ready to go.
If you'd like to learn more about Strata PT and see how our EMR and RCM works, head over to stratapt.com to book a demo.